Greetings. In the name of Yahshua Messiah, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christos. So, I have a hard time watching YouTube videos just willy-nilly or just when I'm chilling because I have the worst signal ever for my phone where I'm at. Like, it is bad. Like, I can barely send a text message without a bunch of trouble. I have to, like, put my phone upside down in a window. Sometimes it works really good, sometimes it don't. So, I don't get to stay as updated or, in the know of what's currently being talked about or going on in the world because I can't really pull it off. I can only do it sometimes, and I have to be prepared and set my phone up and sit back and listen to it. Otherwise, it's just going to be playing in the background while I'm doing something else. But that's why I might not be talking about some things that y'all would wonder why I wasn't talking about. So, I just saw a couple things that I came across this morning. It's my birthday today, and I'm supposed to be going out to eat here in a little bit. So I might have to cut this video short is the point of what I'm saying. I just don't know what time I'm getting picked up. So, first thing I want to talk about is this thing that's happening, this eclipse, right? Scripture says, do not be dismayed at the signs in the heaven like the heathen are. Dismayed, basically. Yahshua Messiah, Jesus Christ, told us to look for the signs and pay attention to the signs, essentially. But don't be dismayed by them. But I think that this is peculiar.
This is Surviving End Times, and I want to share with you guys here some signs in the heavens, if you will, that are approaching us here with this April 8th eclipse that's going to take place over America. Now, this is an interesting eclipse in itself, marking 7 years after the last eclipse went over the United States, and this forms an X over the United States. Some associate this in the occult world as being ritual. And there have been a lot of anomalies connected to this as well, as far as emergency services putting out alerts saying that people should be aware of high traffic volumes, a lack of communication, even the FAA saying there's going to be flight disruptions for 3 days surrounding this event. There's also been National Guard deployed to cities and towns along the pathway. All this did not happen on the last eclipse that took place over America. But now this one also seems to have some very interesting features along the pathway. The city of Nineveh is found 6 times along this path, along with Jonah and Rapture. You can see
6 different cities named Nineveh in this path of this eclipse. And I started looking at this, and you got Texas, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, Nova Scotia. There's a Nineveh, Nova Scotia too, dang. But the one's called Rapture, one's called Jonah, the rest are called Nineveh. These are different cities, right? And then you got the Ark in Williamston, Kentucky. There's an Ark replica that's life-size, supposedly, in Kentucky. I haven't been to it. It's supposed to be pretty cool. But it's like the Bible Belt area, So, and I'm in the line of this thing, too, where I'm at. And I'm wondering if it means I should leave immediately or if it means that it's a blessing and I should stay. But I had this feeling and sense of urgency in the past 2 or 3 weeks, especially the last 2 or 3 weeks, that I need to go somewhere else. Because I can't. I'm making some dough here. Not a lot, but I don't get paid enough for my physical labor. And there's nothing to do here. And I've just had that, all of a sudden recently, had this sense of urgency that I got to get the heck out of here. And so people who live in this area, you should pray. The thing is he says that the National Guard never did this for the one before or whatever, but the National Guard could be showing up to facilitate the crowds of people and making sure that there's order in how people move around and do things. Because I'm sure that tons of people from all over the world are coming to see this, maybe. I'm not sure, but I'm assuming that's the case. But yeah, but it's strange these names are here, and we all know that the rapture is not a biblical thing. It's not scriptural, from what I understand. And the whole idea of the rapture came from some really psychologically sick woman that preachers thought she was prophesying or something. But I can't remember the whole story. But that's just a little note. I'm not saying that the word rapture here isn't significant. I didn't even know there was a place called Rapture, Indiana. Jonah, Texas. I didn't know there was so many Ninevehs. I mean, how interesting is it? Nineveh is the city that Jonah went to, that Jah told him to go to tell them to repent of their wicked deeds. And they did. And Jonah was like, they're not going to listen. They're not going to listen. And Jonah told them, and they listened, and they wailed and begged Jah for forgiveness, and they changed their ways. See what I'm saying? You got to speak what Jah has called you to speak. You got to do it. And Jonah tried not to do it, and Jah bothered him until he would do it. You're not going to disobey Jah when you're already in a deep relationship with him, and he calls you to be his mouthpiece and give a rebuke. You see what I'm saying? Jonah was like, I ain't going to talk to those people. They're never going to repent. They're just a bunch of devils. That's what he said. But Jonah was wrong. That's how he got stuck in a fucking whale. Because Jah was trying to tell him, look, I'm going to make everything hard for you until you go back there and tell these people. See what I'm saying? And that's the context of Nineveh and Jonah, for those who don't know. And that's like, what is going on here? Like, what is this? It's more than a coincidence. Comment and put in the comments if you have any ideas here.
There on the edge of it is the Ark in Williamstown, Kentucky. But this, to me, is way bigger than just some random coincidence. That, first off, all of these cities lie on one path. And then you're going to tell me the eclipse is going to come rolling right down it? Well, this is exactly what's going to happen. If you couple this with all the other signs that are taking place, signs in the heavens of Revelation, which I'll be covering in another video, everything going on in Jerusalem and Israel, preparing for the ushering in of the Messianic era.
Yeah, the fake one.
In the third temple.
The fake one.
We're going to be covering that as well, but this seems to be a harbinger or a sign in the heavens that many are paying attention to for many different reasons. And for the dark occult, this could be a window where things start to go into motion. You have to realize that in this 7-year window, lockdowns and everything else happened, which seems like it's in the rear view. But all that took place right in the middle of this 7-year window that is coming to a close. Also, to the high Satanists out there like Aleister Crowley and others, they see this window of between the 8th and the 10th of being of high power and of high degree.
Then there's also the fact, I don't know if it's in tune and schedule with the the worldwide Shemitah, if there is such a Shemitah, right? And if it's not just individualized, as in you buy your land and you let your land rest 7 years from the time you first sowed seed and tilled it, you know, or if it's like a universal Shemitah, but nobody would know exactly when that would be, of course. But that is every 7 years too, and it's not only is it the land is to rest, but it's also the release of debts. And forgiveness of debts. But you're not allowed to take advantage of that and plan to not pay your debts because the Shemitah is next year. It has to do with a sincerity in the whole process. Like somebody has tried their best, you know, to get squared up and pay what they owe. But then on the 7th year, whatever is left, they get forgiven, right? And even banks used to be run on this principle, and in the whole financial market as a whole in the old world, which we can make a video about that later. But that's part of this picture here, in my opinion, especially when the names of these cities are biblical. Now, Williamston is not, but there's the Ark in that town, as far as I can see that they're saying here. That's where the Ark is.
So, with all this happening, I figured I'd throw it out there and share with you some of these interesting details, especially just all these cities here on this path. And to me, it's an ominous sign for America. We were told
now it's not loading. Crying out loud. Oh, Lordy. Well, you got the point. So, I'll go to the next video. See, I gotta reset my connection sometimes to make it work, like airplane mode and on and off. So there's this interesting thing that TEOTW Ministries, which I think stands for the End of the World Ministries, which is neither left nor right wing. He's not a Hebrew Israelite, but he's not a Rasta either, but he's fully aware and teaches on the fact that the house of Yasharal, Israel, is actually Yehudi, black Yehudi, you know, that the real Yehudi were black, and that Jesus Christ, Yahshua Messiah, is black. So this is going to be very interesting, because I have said this for several years now, that if the Antichristos is actually the spurious Messiah, the one to pretend to be, and Von Benjamin pointed out that the 666 can correlate to carbon, and you know, we're all made out of carbon, blacks and whites and everybody, but that the blackness of the black Yehudi is like a connection to the evidence of carbon and original man, right? And that the number of man is 6, and that the third letter in Yahweh's name is 6, and it represents the Son, S-O-N, right? And he has a bride, which is the last hay in Yahweh's name, right? So the false Christ, the Antichristos, when they actually unveil him, they have already prepped the world, and there's all these controlled oppositions with black awareness of and Gentile awareness of the fact that Jesus Christos and Joshua Messiah are black, Ethiopic, had a furrow, and the oldest images on the earth that date back, way back, like I showed a picture of in my last video, are looking just like Haile Selassie, the oldest images of Jesus Christ, before the great so-called whitewashing, changing the image into what was Caesarea Borgias. So Satan is using his whole old plan to facilitate the coming of the false Christ, and the revealing of him it's very well possible that he could look Ethiopic. And I don't mean that he will be Ethiopic, but they'll just possibly make him black. Okay, and then this is what I'm getting at when I play this video. You'll see what I'm saying. There's a propaganda thing going around. I'll give you a preface. There's a propaganda thing going around, and that's what this video is about how some of these black brothers and sisters out there that are conscious of who they are in a general sense, as far as being Yehudi and such, right? They are posting videos of Putin, the Russian president, or whatever his title is, right? And that he is saying that Russia is going to have to accept the fact that Jesus is black, basically, and that the original people, the Israelites, were black, and that they're going to follow black Jesus now. When Putin isn't actually saying those things like they're presenting. So it's tricking black people to hop on this bandwagon real quick to make themselves look foolish because Putin isn't actually saying that. That's what the premise of the video is, okay? If it plays, crying out loud. There we go.
You know, I think it was camps. That's what I think. I think camps did it. I think camps are going. I saw from day one it was. Salama family, Salama, how y'all doing today? Hope you're blessed and highly favored. So fam, look, I didn't even want to do this. I saw from day one it was fake. I'm like, surely everyone's not gonna fall for this con. But guess what? They have. And, you know, as a quote which was attributed to Mark Twain, a lie can travel halfway around the world while the truth is putting on its shoes.
Yeah.
And this is true. Let's see how far this video gets shared. Nowhere near as close as the lie. And look, I keep saying it. We gotta do better. Look, personally, not putting any fingers on anybody, but I think it was camps. That's what I think. I think camps did it. I think camps are COINTELPRO. They've done it in the past with the whole thing about Hitler and.
See, I don't know what camps is. I don't know if he means like the Hebrew Israelite camps, or I don't know what he means. So if y'all know, you can put it in my comment section.
We are the Jews and stuff like that. How many times that quote has been shared? You can't validate anywhere. I'm like, it's exhausting being a truth ministry. It's exhausting.
Yeah.
All right, so let's start off. There's two videos, right? There's two videos out there, and we're gonna look at one, two of the videos. It's exhausting, but anyway, it's hard being a truth ministry. I ain't gonna lie, I'm telling you, it's hard.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, people of Russia, today, we stand on the precipice of a monumental revelation, a moment that redefines not only our understanding of history, but also the path forward for our great nation. In an extraordinary discovery hidden beneath centuries of lore and legend, we have opened what can only be described as the oldest vault known to mankind. What we found within its ancient confines challenges the very fabric of our beliefs and heralds a new dawn for our country. Within this vault, we discovered figures of biblical proportions, characters that many have read about, debated, and revered. These figures, preserved against the sands of time, reveal a truth that is as profound as it is transformative. They are all black.
I don't know why the quality isn't changing.
This revelation, this undeniable truth, stands before us not as a contradiction to our faith, but as a testament to the diversity and unity that faith embodies. As your president, I see this moment not as a challenge to our beliefs, but as an opportunity to embrace a wider, more inclusive understanding of our history and spirituality. Russia, in its rich tapestry of cultures, traditions, and people, is uniquely positioned to lead the world into this new era of understanding and acceptance. From this day forward, let us proclaim our nation under the guidance of Black Jesus, a figure who represents not just the cornerstone of Christian faith, but also a symbol of the universal values of love, compassion, and brotherhood. This Black Jesus, whose likeness and history have been unveiled from the oldest vault, is a message to us all that divinity knows no color, that spiritual truth transcends race, and that our common humanity binds us more tightly than our differences divide us. Let this discovery remind us that history is not just the story of those who wield power, but also of those whose contributions have been overlooked or forgotten.
All right, so there's a little more to that, but I think y'all get it. And, there was another video, and I'm going to show you where that particular speech came from, and just a little digging, and you can prove these things. But there was another video that they did the same thing too. It was the one with the Pope. And the Pope was talking about how,
Let it load for a second. I think it just now caught up with the quality change. Gee whiz.
or what he did to black folks, and how we the real Jews, or something like that it was, right? And
Well, I don't know. I'm gonna put the quality back down so it can play at least. That's just how it is. My signal's terrible. Oh wait a minute, that's not what I'm trying to do.
they did the same thing to the Pope, and that didn't get as much traction, so I guess they went with Putin. And I validate everything.
Using Putin as a hero, essentially, and then Putin can get all kinds of random, out of nowhere, nonsensical support from a bunch of black folks. I mean, I don't know what the goal of this propaganda is, but Putin didn't say that shit. I don't know. Maybe he did. Maybe it's all propaganda in the deepest sense. But if Putin said that, it'd be highly sus, because we're talking about a world leader here that was in the KGB for crying out loud, part of the Dragon system. Okay, so Putin ain't looking out for you. Even if he did say that verbatim, like I just said earlier, they gonna bring out the fake Christ any minute now. Any minute now. And he gonna look black. And then a lot of Judah's gonna fall for it just because dude's black. Not joking, y'all. That's to show the vanity of the people too. Their vanity is the destruction of themselves. You need to seek out a matter before you rush to judgment. Look at the root of it.
I told y'all I validate everything. And even with the video with the Pope, I went and took my Google translation and translated it. And I said, yep, it's a fake. So I went and found the original video of the Pope. So for this one, if you notice, for this particular video, you can't hear Putin at all. And so you can't do a Google Translate because it's too loud, right? But a little research, a little digging, and you can find out the truth, right? So here's where that video I just showed you came from. Right here, it is President Vladimir Putin delivers his annual State of the Union address. This is where they got it from.
The really big cities of Russia, but also the remote regions. In the next 10 years, we have to make sure that the whole territory of Russia is covered by broadband.
So obviously this is not the
And
same
this depends,
speech,
of course,
correct?
on satellite development.
I don't think I need to show
And
any more. So this is where they got it from. Now, so they went and did another video. I guess they figured, hey, if they find out that that one is fake, they're gonna have a harder time finding this one. I mean, really, fam, we gotta do better. It is so exhausting. I ain't gonna lie, it's exhausting. All right, so here's the other video, fake video. And this is from our sister Naya Sim. She's showing it. And, it's all over TikTok and everywhere else. But, this is, the one I chose because it's making the round. Now, like I said, let's see if y'all make this troop video go viral.
Just told his entire nation that they now serve Black Jesus. Stop what you're doing, download this video, and share it on every social media site you can find because this shit just got crazy.
Ladies and gentlemen, people of Russia, today we stand on the precipice of a monumental revelation, a moment that redefines not only our understanding of history, but also the path forward for our great nation. In an extraordinary discovery hidden beneath centuries of lore and legend, we have opened what can only be described as the oldest vault known to mankind. What we found within its ancient confines challenges the very fabric of our beliefs and heralds a new dawn for our country. Within this vault, we discovered figures of biblical proportions, characters that many have read about, debated, and revered. These figures, preserved against the sands of time, reveal a truth that is as profound.
And really, guys, if this was for real, legitimate, sincere, a Russian announcement, basically, it's shameful because y'all are like way late bloomers and way late to the game to say this now because this has been proven over and over and over again for 100+ years, bare minimum, as far as the modern culture in contemporary times are concerned. It has been stated as a fact by multiple archaeologists and historians and etc. Okay. So it's like Yeah, we know that. It's like saying 9/11 was an inside job. Duh. Yeah, that's old news. You know what I mean? So, it's like, that's how you know it's a trick. Because this shit has been known for a while. They're just trying to take control of the narrative. Especially by putting out a fake piece about it first to see how the reaction goes. Testing the waters.
As it is transformative. They are all black. This revelation, this undeniable truth stands before us not as a contradiction.
And I will say this. There is equal amount of criticism towards white people, of course, in this sense that what I'm about to say. But black people have a serious problem with just jumping on the bandwagon of something because it's all black, you know what I mean? And it's like, I think this dude says this sometimes, but all your skin folks, or no, not Von Benjamin, but Wyndham Young, I think, says this actually. All skin folks ain't your kin folks. Or maybe they both say it, I don't know. But just because it's black don't mean it's fucking legit, okay? Like Black Lives Matter ain't legit, you know what I mean? Like, it's a psyop. It's a trick. And it's to continue the division, to continue hatred back and forth. So, the Gentiles that know the truth are part of the family and the house of Yasharal. So there is no partiality. There is the right order to things, right? Like salvation is first to the tribe of Judah, then to the other tribes, and then to the Gentiles, right? But that, that's the order of things, but that has nothing to do with partiality. There is no partiality. Jah believes and says and clearly states his feelings on partiality in the scriptures. It's abhorrent to him.
To our faith, but as a testament to the diversity and unity that faith embodies. As your president, I see this moment not as a challenge to our beliefs, but as an opportunity to embrace a wider, more inclusive understanding of our history and spirituality. Russia.
Haile Selassie said plurality without partiality. All kinds of different peoples without partiality. No one people gets special treatment. If they're breaking the law and breaking the moral law, natural law, they gotta be dealt with.
In its rich tapestry of cultures, traditions, and people, is uniquely positioned to lead the world into this new era of understanding and acceptance. From this day forward, let us proclaim our nation under the guidance of Black Jesus.
Now, this is supposed to be the same speech, but obviously he has a different tie on. He has on a different jacket and a different background, different location, right? Now, I don't know if you all can see this, and I'm gonna share it with you, but in the lower left corner of this particular video, there's this golden arch or this golden triangle. Can y'all see that in the lower left corner? If y'all can see that, give me a 1. If you can't see it, give me a 2. There's a golden triangle in the lower left. Why is that important? That's because you can identify where they got this video from. Now, let me show you this one. All right, here's the video where they stole it from. Putin makes no mention of Ukraine war in New Year's Eve speech. See the same little golden triangle right there in the background? Same tie, right?
Времена встречи Нового года – это и светлые надежды, искреннее желание порадовать близких. Наступающий 2024 объявлен в нашей стране годом семьи. А настоящая большая семья – это, безусловно, та, где растут дети, где царят внимание, душевная теплота и забота о родителях.
So I don't need to go any further. So this is the speech video, right? Right here on the right side. This is the one that they shared that supposedly he was talking about Black Jesus. That's on the right. the little gold thing right there. And here's the original video that I just showed you right here, the little gold triangle thing, building on the left, right? Same thing, same speech. It's a lie, it's a fake, it's not even AI. Initially, this particular video, because it was sort of grainy, it sort of looked like it was an AI thing, right? But it's not even AI, it's just a bad recording, right? Now, does this negate the fact that we the Israelites? No, it doesn't negate that fact, but they want to use this against us, right? I told you, personally, I can't tell you who did it. I think it's a camp, because they've been doing this since I've been awakened. They do this type of foolishness, and it hurts the awakening, right? Now, if it's not the camps, then it's somebody like those people that hang over there, you know, with the urban apologists, you know, them white boys that be over there, you know, one of them got a last name of Boo in it, Boo, right? Hey, Boo Boo, right? But it doesn't negate the truth of the matter, and it hurts the awakening, right? Now, if it's not the camps, then it's somebody like those people that hang over there, you know, with the urban apologists, you know, them white boys that be over there, you know, one of them got a last name of Boo in it, Boo, right? Hey, Boo Boo, right? But it doesn't negate
I don't know what he means by
the
that.
truth of the matter, and it doesn't negate the release of the icons. Now, the icons were released 15 years ago. This is not something new, right? 15 years ago, the icons were released. Now, let me show you. See this video right here? 15 years ago, right? It's not something new.
Icons dating back to the 14th century, brought together from private collections across Russia.
It's very beautiful. It gives you goose pimples. It's a remarkable exhibition.
It's an exhibition which feeds the senses. Everything is so grey outside at the moment, and here suddenly it's a feast for the eyes.
And it's a feast that marks 100 years since religious icons started to be recognized as works of art. Before then, they were mainly viewed as religious objects, often left blackened over the centuries by the passage of time and added layers of paint.
When we learned how to remove the dark layers, we discovered underneath an overwhelming beauty, to such an extent that it shocked André Matisse, who was in Moscow at the time. He said, "It's here that artists should come to learn to paint, not to Italy."
But today, only a small number of these masterpieces remain. Most were destroyed during the Soviet era.
Those aren't even like,
These icons are the survivors.
some of those aren't even
Museums
legit,
hadn't saved them, they wouldn't
in my
exist
opinion.
today.
They're not as old as they need to
So we have,
be.
you know, a truth, right, which is the release of the Russian icons, which have a black Jesus and a black Mary and a black apostles, is true, right? But see, whether it be camps, which who I think did it, or somebody else, you know, they mix a little truth with lies. You see, so the icons are legit. The speech by Putin isn't. And so, you know, a lot of truth comes out, but the devil has to hide it, right? Just like this part of it, which was, you know, in.
Oh, for crying out loud. Well, this'll work probably. There we go. Come on now.
Some of the videos, which is legit, right? So you see a little truth mixed with lies.
Let's see that again.
Just like this part of it, which was, you know, in some of the videos, which is legit, right?
Yeah, that's more legit. That's more, yeah.
So you see a little truth mixed with lies.
That's probably real gold, dude.
And, you know, it's, like I say, just a little research and, you know, you can find out everything. But, you know, it's to hinder the awakening because, you know, a lot of people, especially Gentiles, they're going to say, see, I told you so. They're not the people. Those pictures are black because it was worn out over time, so it became black. No, usually that what happens is it becomes white if it decays because it loses the pigment.
Yep, exactly. I was gonna say that too.
But then, you know, you have the Gentiles who are gonna say, hey, you know, y'all are all about skin color. Why y'all care about the color of Jesus? Why do y'all care?
Because the truth matters, that's why. Like I said before in my other videos, I ain't bound to black folks because they're black. I'm bound to black Jesus because he's black Jesus. Okay, there's the right order of things. And I will rightfully hail up as it's due to each brethren and sister, because it's I and I, and the Gentiles are part, the ones who obviously accept the truth and Yahshua Messiah and walk it out and believe in God's morality and feel ashamed when they mess up. You know, we're all part of the same family here. And there's a lot of relationships that happen between the kingdom of Judah, even for the 1,000-year cover-up, between Judah and Welsh, the tribe of Welsh folks, which I'm Welsh, and I inherently, the minute I heard my first reggae song, it's like I knew in my bones that there's the truth, and then that's, you know, and then I knew I would always be Rasta, you know, even when I first started to accept the scriptures. Rasta was always there, part of it, you know what I mean? And that understanding of who Judah is in reality and what that means about Jesus Christ. And it's not a vanity of it matters what color his skin is. It's not like that. It's a matter of the truth matters. And we have to know the truth. And the truth sets you free. It's not every black person is royalty just because of some relation to a Shemitic heritage, right? Not all black folks are Shemitic heritage anyway. It's not all black folks. It's, you know, a lot of black folks are, but not all black folks come from a Hebrew Shemitic lineage, from my understanding. Some of them are just like other nations, you know what I mean? So, I forgot what I was going to say, but we'll just let him talk now because I forgot.
About the color of the apostles, stuff like that. The reason why they say that is because if we're the people, they got a judgment coming. So the icons are legit. They are black. And, you know, the Catholic Church also worship a black Madonna and have some black images. So you cannot discredit this awakening. But understand this, the enemy is slick. He's subtle. He's shrewd. He's going to discredit you. He's going to infiltrate you with people who look like you, and I've told y'all this. But see, they're scared of the judgment. They're scared of the judgment of what they've done to black folks, right? So now a lot of them probably feel fine. They feel happy. They feel good because those videos that says Putin says that we are black and that Yeshua was black. Now that's been proven fake, but the icons are not fake. The icons are legit.
See, yeah, there's this thing where there's a dialectic going on here where you have this cult-like fanatic mentality that's orchestrated by intelligence operatives on the blackness of the black identity of Isaac, of Yahushua HaMashiach and the Israelites and tribe of Judah and so on, where it's turned into this thing that it's not supposed to be. And so you have the Gentiles on the other side being like, oh, this is a farce. And, you know, they're unwilling, some of them are unwilling to accept it, even otherwise, you know, they're not willing to accept it. And for me, it's like, the truth is the truth, period. I don't give a fuck what color you are, period. If you love the truth and the objective, factual reality, not subjective opinion and experience, that can be, it can be measured in its own right, you know, subjective stuff. But what we have to deal with is, as far as getting things done and like getting these people, these criminals arrested who subvert our nations, you know, and our culture, is through what is objective, factual reality. Objective. You're dealing with something that everybody can clearly, plainly see, and it's a fact. It's provable. Not only just with citations, but just plainly, you know, like it's plainly evil to be a pedophile, and everybody cringes at the idea who's not with that shit. You know what I'm saying? It's because that would be an objective, factual morality. And people act like morality is plainly subjective, and it's just like, nah. There's some things that are clearly evil and wrong, and some things that are not. And they're in a gray area. Depends on how you're doing it, what you're doing. Now, there is no partiality, but the people who refuse the truth are going to struggle here, because when the fake Jesus comes out too, not only will the sycophantically brainwashed of Judah and the black Hebrews be obsessed with the false black Christ and bow to him, but the Gentiles who refuse the true identity will bow to the false black Christ too, because it comes out right before his eyes, and then he didn't put it together in advance that 666 Antichrist is literally a dude, maybe Satan himself, trying to literally shapeshift into what would be a literal spitting image of Jesus Christ, right? It wouldn't be much of a deception if the whole world figured out Jesus was black, and then they bring out the Antichrist and he's a fucking, looks like Caesarea Borgias. You see what I'm saying? It wouldn't really fool too many people, because they already know. See? That's why this stuff is coming out right now. That's why this psyop is happening right now. They're testing the waters to see how willfully will, especially blacks, just lay down for this false Messiah, just because of his skin color. And he might have a fro. Like the oldest images of Yahshua Messiah prove that Yahshua Messiah had a fro. And he looked just like Haile Selassie.
And I'm going to close this out because it's not going to be, wasn't meant to be long. With 2nd Baruch. And 2nd Baruch talks about the judgment for what they did to God's people. And there's a place of safety where we're going to be. So, maybe one day a few Gentiles will awaken.
A few. There's plenty coming out.
It says this starting
I'm
at
out here, bro.
71.
Plenty of Gentiles know
And
the
the Holy
truth.
Land shall have mercy on its
We don't
own.
need
So
too
this
many. We don't need
second
too many
Baruch is
people because
talking
they're all
about
bullshitters
his
anyway.
judgment that's on the world.
Few will be saved, right?
And the Holy Land shall have mercy on its own, and it shall protect its inhabitants at that time. Now, you know, I believe that's Africa. The Holy Land, I believe, is Africa. So the Holy Land shall have mercy on its own, and it shall protect its inhabitants at that time. This is the vision which you have seen, and this is the interpretation. For I have come to tell you these things because your prayer has been heard with the Most High. Hear now also regarding the bright lightning which is to come at the consummation after these black waters. This is the word after the signs have come, of which you were told before when the nations become turbulent. We're in these times. And the time of my Messiah is come. He shall both summon all the nations, and some of them he shall spare. So he's going to summon the nations. That sounds like other scriptures we've read, right? He's going to spare some of the nations. Well, which nations will he spare? And some of them he shall slay. So Yeshua is going to slay some nations. And he's going to spare some nations. Does that not sound like the judgment of the goat nations? These things, therefore, shall come upon the nations which are to be spared by him. So I wonder what the nations who are spared by him did. And I wonder what the...
Don't forget, brother, that judgment must first start in the house of Jah. That's where it starts. And if we get judgment first, what will happen to the people who are like the Gentile pagan nations that don't want nothing to do with the truth? They're in big trouble.
Nations that are slayed by him have done.
And have downpressed the poor of his people and downpressed the poor of other nations too. All different Gentiles are downpressed that are the poor of the people, right? And particularly they downpress the poor of Jah's people, Judah, Levi, and Benjamin, for 400 years.
Every nation which knows not Israel and has not trodden down the seed of Jacob shall indeed be spared. So, which nation's going to be judged? The ones who trodden underfoot Jacob. Now, does this not align well with Jerusalem shall be trodden underfoot? Y'all remember that. We talked about it. I told you that Jerusalem can represent the people. Jerusalem shall be trodden underfoot until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Every nation which knows not Israel and has not trodden down the seed of Jacob shall indeed be spared. And this because some out of every nation shall be subjected to your people. So these nations are going to be subjected to Yah's people, who were what? Trodden underfoot. But all those who have ruled over you or have known you shall be given up to the sword. I didn't say it. You don't have to believe 2nd Baruch. 2nd Baruch says that God's people going to rule over y'all for what y'all did to his people. Come on now. Your nation going to be spared if y'all didn't enslave us and trodden us underfoot. Your nation, if y'all did trodden us underfoot, going to be slaved. I read it to you. You can say what you want. But nations are in turbulent times, and if you read this whole thing and you read about how the turbulent waters, the black waters, and all this stuff, right? So really, if you read this whole thing, and I'll put the link if y'all want it, it's really talking about good times and bad times, if you want to sum it up, right? Good times and bad times. So the bright waters are the good times, the dark waters are the bad times, and it's talking about this world being under judgment. But I wanted to emphasize the fact that something happened to God's people. They were trodden underfoot. It was the seed of Jacob, which is their offspring. It's the descendants of Jacob. What happened to them? They went into captivity. So, you know, the idea that Black folks are not Israel is foolishness, right? We didn't prove it. The scriptures didn't prove it. Those icons prove it. But we get called out, right? And we get
Ethiopia
castigated
proves
because
it.
we say, hey, Gentiles going into slavery. God's going to judge the nations for what they did to his people, Joel chapter 3. Second Baruch confirms. But hey, color don't matter. But color does matter. You know why? Because the Israelites are black, and black folks are the people who have been trodden underfoot. And now the world and the nations are in turbulent times. They're in the dark waters. So family, I had to come out here. Didn't want to do it. I really didn't. I'm tired. But it kept gaining feet. Nobody else was coming out with it. Because a lie can travel halfway around the world while the truth is putting on its shoes.
I didn't even know this stuff was going on.
And this is why we got so many in Israel who's deceived. They reject the Messiah. They say Gentiles can't be saved. That's what they say. I'm going to tell you this. We got to get our game together, because it ain't about whether or not we look foolish before Gentiles. It's about what the Most High is looking at.
Yeah.
We got to up our game, because we serving the Most High God, the living God, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the one who's going to slay the nations that enslaved us and that shoot us in the streets. The one that's going to destroy the nations that persecuted our family, that took our kids. The Most High going to get vengeance for us. That's even what they call canon teaches. Even if you don't read Second Baruch, that's what the Bible teaches. But we're racist because we say Israel are black folks. Yet we bring out all of the evidence, historical, biblical, everything. But you got to know that some of these people that look like you are planted in there to cause confusion and division. Why? Because they don't want everybody waking up and see.
Yeah, jacket snitch. They wear your jacket like they're in your group. That's the old CIA term for it. Jacket snitch. They're everywhere, guys. All over the place. And they've put several among RASTAFARI, and I've been warning about it for the last 8 years. UNICEF is involved, as far as like a high up level that's presentably obvious to see, you know what I mean? Like, that's a big name involved. Andrew Holness is involved with something to do with it for sure. I wouldn't doubt. There's no doubt about it to me. Which he's the Prime Minister of Jamaica. They're trying to change what Rastafari means. And I don't think they can do it because we have such a strong foundation in the scriptures. And all our music, the reggae music, is based on the scriptures. There is very seldom a reggae song that's Rastafari that does not have some form of scriptural reference in one form or another in the song. It is a standard practice, standard operating procedure of Rastafari reggae to teach the truth of the Bible. So, including the books that the Vatican took out and so on.
You're going to have the Christians say, see, I told you them Israelites are liars. You can't believe anything the Israelites say. See, now they have the right to say, don't listen to them. They're not the people. That's what they're going to say. But it don't matter what they say. because we are the people. The history proves it. History proves we're the people. The Bible.
What matters is what you do. When you know the truth about what time we're in and what's going on here. The faithful